Would I be wrong if I went low contact with my technically perfect family once I move out? I'm about to turn 17 and just finished my junior year of high school. I'd like to think I'm overall a good kid, but I've been having issues with my family, mainly my mother, increasingly lately. For some background, my family consists of me, my father, my mother, both in their 50s, and my little sister, who is 9. Because it kind of becomes relevant to understanding my family dynamic, it is important to know that my sister is adopted and is a visibly different race from the rest of my family. As in, it's not out of the question that we're biological siblings and maybe I just got all the white features, but it does raise some eyebrows when we are introduced as siblings. This, along with a whole slew of things that happened while her birth mother was pregnant, has made her maybe a little bit coddled. I really don't know what is nature versus nurture here, but we are polar opposites in terms of temperament. This is kind of the stereotypical the younger sibling gets away with so much that I never would have, but taken to an extreme. She is quick to anger and lashes out, throwing full-on tantrums regularly if she doesn't get her way. I truly don't think she can control most of it, and she's on medication now that seems to help when she takes it. Because it's not her fault that she acts this way, there are never any consequences for her at all, regardless of how she harms me. One example, admittedly from around 2 or 3 years ago now, was when she literally jabbed me in the eye with her finger and gave me a corneal abrasion. It didn't take long to heal, but it was a pain in the ass, and she didn't even get in trouble because she didn't mean to hurt you. She didn't know poking that hard would hurt your eye, which made me very mad. Obviously, because I still bring up this story, lol. Other examples include my 16th birthday, where she received presents on the way to my party so she wouldn't freak out because the attention was on me. Nonetheless, she got upset when I opened a gift that she wanted as well, and she started whining. Our conversation went along the lines of, "That's not fair, I wanted one of those." And me responding with, "You're only saying that because I got it." While I admit I was rather snippy with it, my mom responded by threatening to take back all of my birthday presents if I didn't fix my attitude. My father ended up having to take my sister home halfway through my birthday dinner because she was only whining and crying. We think she might have actually gotten stung by a bee, so this isn't the most unfair thing. My anger here is really with my mom, not my sister. She is always happy to do whatever it takes to keep my sister happy, as long as it's at anyone's expense but her own. As in, my sister can literally punch me with no repercussions, but the only time I've ever seen her get in trouble was when she accidentally hit my mother. My dynamic with my mother is really weird. Sometimes it's great, and I relish those moments, but any little thing can set her off. Part of this is a medical condition she suffers from that mainly causes extreme fatigue and discomfort sometimes, which I understand makes her irritable. This seems to have gotten worse over the past few years, but it has reached the point where I've realized I'm genuinely scared of her. If I'm napping and I hear her approach, I jolt awake. I can hear her footsteps or even the garage door opening when she comes home, and I'm instantly anxious and feel the need to hide. She is not, and has never been, physically abusive, and I have a hard time calling her abusive at all because it seems so ridiculous. For context, she is an emergency medicine pediatrician and also works for the local child abuse center. She is well known in our area and is maybe halfway to being a local celebrity. She literally travels to conferences to give talks on parenting, so it seems ridiculous to think that she could be doing something wrong in her parenting. But after a few years of therapy, I've come to the realization that a child should not be scared to be around their parent. I feel as if she doesn't take me seriously. The same goes for my father, too, to a degree. She somehow believes she knows me and my feelings better than I know them myself. Some examples of this: she still believes I'm cisgender and straight. I have not identified as cisgender or straight since I was 10 years old, and I have been entirely clear about this the whole time. I have brought home 2 separate partners with whom I had relationships that lasted many months, but she still considered my current relationship to be my first real relationship because it's the first straight one I've been in. If I ever dress too differently from my assigned gender or wear anything gender-affirming, I'm met with comments and remarks about how I look weird and should just dress normally because everyone has that stage. It would be one thing if she were homophobic or transphobic, but she isn't. She is literally a public advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and healthcare. Literally the same day that she gave me shit for wearing loose clothes and a binder, she went on the news to talk about advice for families on accepting their trans children. Another example is my mental health history. I have no way of knowing whether it was caused by my situation with my family, the pandemic, or if it was going to happen to me anyway, but I suffered from severe depression starting around age 9. Looking back on it, it's insane that nobody knew something was wrong. It is not normal for a 10-year-old to pray for some excuse to die. I began therapy in middle school after my mental health continued to decline during the pandemic, but I wasn't diagnosed with or medicated for depression until last year after a few very close calls with suicide attempts. Despite this, my mom is of the belief that I'm fine, just a little anxious, and will refer to my medications as being for my anxiety, which they definitely help with, but that's definitely not why I have them. Her demeanor toward me seems to be some weird mix of jealousy and judgment, and I regularly question whether or not she actually enjoys having children. Again, all of this drama is not a constant thing. It will start and stop, and some days she's actually very nice, while on others she just seems angry at the world and takes it out on anyone around her. She is like my sister in that way, and they often argue and fight, occasionally degrading into a screaming match. I'm not like that at all, and I think I tend to internalize my anger more instead of directing it outward. I have never once in my life raised my voice at her, and I can't even imagine the possibility of standing up to anything she says while she's angry. My main question here is, would I be wrong to go low contact when I move out for college? It feels wrong, as my parents will be paying for my schooling, and I do believe they want the best for me. But the weeks I've spent abroad alone on school trips have been some of the most peaceful in my life, without the constant anxiety of setting off my mother. So, would I be the a-hole? I'll answer questions if any come up. Thanks, everyone, for reading my rambling.